Okay, so this is apparently going to become a thing for me because this is fucking excusable. Extra credits is using this word right here. Now, settle your fucking tits. I'm not saying using the word is inexcusable. I watched this fucking goddamn video thinking that maybe it's just unfortunate that they show an unfortunate word choice. That they use this word to actually talk about the game's fucking mechanics. But it's not. These motherfuckers went full SJW. Let's just watch and I'll pause the fucking video at each point to debunk this fucking retard.
Yes, we're wrestling with a number of very divisive issues as we try to understand who we want to be going into the 21st century. Among them are police violence, vigilantism, and the question of just how much the US government can do to a citizen in the name of protecting the rest of us.
Now let's remember this motherfucker right here. Vigilantism. Vigilantism is commonly somebody taking the law into their own hands. They are not part of the state. They are not they don't have any kind of authority, but they're going around doing shit to uphold law. That is vigilantism. Let's just keep that in mind.
And these questions are at the heart of the division, except the game doesn't seem to realize it.
Yeah, I'll fucking bet. Maybe you just are projecting, you fucking cunt.
The Division is a game where you're shooting real people in a real city in the United States. It's not
false. You're shooting virtual people in a virtual city based off the United States.
Like XCOM, where you're mowing down aliens, or even where the people you fight are the standard go-to of plague zombies or something. You're not even at war, so we can't get away with calling the enemies combatants.
Okay, you are at quote-unquote war with another country. You know what? The game is based off of a goddamn contingency for a terrorist attack on our soil. So just because it's not a full-on war doesn't mean that there aren't combatants. In the Division, complete anarchy has fucking ensued. The government has broken down. There is fucking looting, rioting, shootings. It's basically the fucking Wild West out there. And you are one of the few people left in the government from this sleeper cell called the organization, or the division, to help put things back in order.
Because there's no hand wave to be found, and because these are supposed to be citizens of the United States, who you gun down relentlessly without stop, the game cannot help but...
Citizens of the United States that we gun down relentlessly without stop. It's not like we don't have cause to shoot at these fuckers.
But make a statement, and that's problematic, because in a
fuck that word.
real-world setting, the player's actions have meaning. They comment on our society, whether or not the developer intends them.
Games do not influence reality, you fuck puppet!
It's unavoidable. It's like if somebody makes a film about college students in which all of the minority kids drop out while all of the white kids get A's.
That story wouldn't have the white kids as the protagonists, would it? Because generally stories have the protagonist succeed.
That communicates a worldview, intentional or not. The filmmakers might not have meant anything by it. They might not have been thinking about it when they made the film. It might not even be that essential to what they intended the plot of the film to be. But they can't then just insist to everybody that it's just a movie, stop overthinking it.
Yes, they can, because it's art, and they have freedom of expression. You getting butthurt because you don't feel it was fucking a true representation or that you weren't represented fairly in their goddamn movie doesn't make it your fucking right to have them fucking be coerced into fucking agreeing with you. It's their fucking movie. They can do what they fucking want with it.
Something we still hear way too often with games.
Same for fucking games, you goddamn cocksucking motherfucker.
So let's talk about the problematic elements of this game, honestly and openly. Not about the quality of the gameplay, only what that gameplay means.
Yeah, you can tell this is gonna be fucking bullshit when you want to talk feels over reals.
What it says about issues we're facing today, and why we need to think about these things when we're placing our games in the real world. Because in the Division, you're a government agent killing you.
See? Right there. You are a government agent, a member of the state, somebody with authority. You're not a fucking vigilante already. Your fucking narrative is falling apart, isn't it?
U.S. citizens on U.S. soil.
killing U.S. citizens on U.S. soil. Again, it's not like these motherfuckers right here didn't give this motherfucker reason to fucking kill them.
By government order, without due process of law, and those actions are
Without government order? The president has charged you with it, you fuck. That's a government order.
portrayed as heroic. That's terrifying.
How? That you're a fucking member of the military and you have orders to defend the goddamn country's status quo, to defend peace, and try and fucking restore order to anarchy? That's not heroic?
This game world is a totalitarian wasteland, and it glorifies.
No, it's not a totalitarian wasteland. The government has collapsed. There's only a few people left in the fucking state who can fucking influence shit, and you're trying to take control back so shit works again. It's not a totalitarian state, it's anarchy.
Our entire society is based around the idea, true or not, that the government serves the people. And
yes, it does. Which is why you as the government agent have been activated to try and restore fucking order.
That in a democracy, the government doesn't use violence against its citizens to...
Doesn't use violence against its citizens. You know what? I'll agree with that. The government shouldn't use violence against its citizens. But in the case of this game, your citizens are acting up and affecting the other citizens. So what should I do? Let the fucking citizens who are acting up bully and harass the other citizens? Or help the motherfuckers who aren't being violent?
get them in line. Lately, though, with things like the Patriot Act or even Directive 51, on which this game is loosely based, we as a nation have been struggling to preserve those liberties and come to a consensus about how much power the state has, about how many of those freedoms we're willing to let the state take away in the name of protecting us.
In the current everyday facility, yes, we have laws and order to keep us safe and the government doesn't have to step in. However, in the sake of the game, none of these sleeper cells had been activated because everything was fine. In the game, everything has collapsed and there is no more order, so they have to step in and fix it.
This is a very complex, nuanced issue, and how...
Not really, you're just fucking stupid.
How we talk about it is essential to what we become. And yet, without really thinking, this game lauds being an unquestioning participant in a brutal dictatorship.
What fucking dictatorship? There is no more fucking law! You are not... Oh my god, I fucking hate repeating myself, but I have to do it because I know people watching this are fucking dumb.
In The Division, you play as part of a sleeper cell, which the president has planted in the U.S. civilian population, answerable only to him, and usable as a military force against U.S. citizens. That is nuts. The head of state having a private army to be used against his own populace is basically the very definition of a totalitarian state.
The president is already commander-in-chief of all military forces. He already has his goddamn army. And yes, there is contingents where the military will be called in to enforce rules against their own fucking country. It's not pleasant, but when martial law is called, that is what the military does. And guess what? There is a loophole for military members to disobey their fucking orders. There's 3 contingents. They can't risk the soldier's life unnecessarily. They cannot be immoral orders, and they cannot be unconstitutional orders. You can disobey your commanders if their orders fall under one of these 3 items.
What's more, these agents have total discretion. They don't have to answer to the police, and they even have the authority to order the police to help them as they execute any citizen who is acting against what they feel is right for the state.
That's because they are of a higher office. And again, in this game, everything is reduced to anarchy. In fact, some of those police forces beg you to help them! You don't demand they help you, they go, hey, can you come and do this? For the majority of the game, you are actually working for the police chief, or the fucking local militia's chief. You don't fucking conscript anybody, you get conscripted, so already you're fucking lying.
The more I played, the more it really
Played, yeah, I bet you fucking played.
Felt like I was controlling an SS agent, only instead of the game presenting my actions as the horrific stain on humanity's
And I see Godwin's Law has come into effect.
history it was giving me the SS agent's perspective, where everything
Godwin's Law, again.
I was doing was necessary and for the good of the state. And all through the experience, you hear your ally characters talking about how they're fighting to preserve what's left. Which, look, America is our liberties. It's the Bill of Rights. It's not about some arbitrary lines on a map or even a flag. The characters in this game use the same sort of logic that has actually been used time and again to justify taking away citizens' rights in the real world. The idea that it's the only way to preserve America.
If I take away somebody's... Look, yes, we laud our liberties and our rights. We're a free country. We love to have freedoms. However, when one person's freedom starts infringing on another person's freedom, that's when we step in and say, fuck you, you cannot infringe on another man's freedom. That is where the limit is. Everybody is free up until the point you start infringing on another person's ability to be free. There's a limit to everything. One person cannot be completely free. Everybody has to be equally free. And therefore, we step in and say, no, you can't do this or that. You fucking lemming.
And yet the game doesn't examine this. Instead, it's just...
Because it's common goddamn sense!
Just accepted as the most normal thing in the world, which is pretty dangerous in a nation where this is really happening. And
right, I totally forgot how New York is a state of anarchy right now, you fucking fucknut.
then there's the fact that the people you're shooting are disaster survivors.
No! You do not shoot them! In fact, I'm pretty sure they're goddamn immortal. The people you're shooting are often trying to fucking kill or rob the survivors who are trying to eke out a living on the streets. So fuck you and your lies!
Ordinary people who have lived through a horrific event, and without due process, without acknowledging their Fourth Amendment rights, you just gun down any of them who appear to be acting out of line.
Acting out of line? You mean like shooting each other? Killing and robbing?
Early on, there's a sequence where you're sent to hunt down and kill some people who stole some opiates. When I arrived at the mission site, I found a small group of people just standing there and talking. They weren't currently committing a crime,
Were they holding weapons? Were they talking about how they committed crimes? You're not giving us a lot to go on and not showing us a actual picture of what's in the game.
They posed no immediate threat to my agent, and I can't really say that I had any good evidence that they had ever committed a crime, other than the word of my superior who told me to go execute them. And yet, the game encouraged me to gun them down from the...
Stealing opiates, you know, drugs or fucking medicine, as it was actually probably told they'd stolen. That's not crime.
Back. In a world where we're struggling with police shootings and justified use of force, this mirrors far too close.
And here we go. This is all about the goddamn Black Lives Matter bullshit, isn't it? You can't stand the fact that sometimes the police have to shoot people because they're fucking stupid and threaten the cop's life, huh?
Mostly what's actually been going on. What is actually causing incredible outcry in the state. We've seen our national unity fragment and riots break out around instances of cops shooting unarmed citizens over misdemeanors, or because of misunderstandings. And just to be clear, I believe in the need for police. I will absolutely and unequivocally tell anybody who asks that...
Well, goody for you. Maybe you're not a complete and total idiot, but there's still another fucking 5 minutes of this, so you have time to double down on your stupidity, I'm sure.
Society is better with them than without them. It's a broader discussion, but I think we actually have more liberty because of the police. But, in a democratic nation, there must be accountability.
There is goddamn accountability! Oh!
That line of accountability lies, and how we may deal with even unconscious prejudices in those sworn not to merely uphold the law but to serve the people and the Constitution, is one of the defining questions of the moment for us. And to have a game be so blasé about these things does a disservice to everybody. By having someone who is essentially in a law enforcement role gun down minor criminals without any process of law, it essentially says that this is what to expect from law enforcement.
You know, each of these fucking people who are committing, just minor crimes, they shoot at you, right? Yeah, is the government not allowed to defend itself when these fuckers shoot back?
And that dishonors many law enforcement professionals who really are out there to protect and serve. And at the same time, by celebrating and encouraging this behavior through gameplay, it also dishonors the real people who have died and the families that have suffered. It trivializes a very complicated issue. But this isn't just a vague parallel I'm drawing here.
Oh, it's not?
Those minor criminals you're tasked with exterminating early in the game are simply called rioters. And it's easy to identify rioters, because they all wear hoodies.
Never mind the fact that in the narrative of the game, they call themselves the rioters. They're not a fucking... it's not a label tagged onto them as a gameism. They are a faction called rioters, with a leader and everything.
I kid you not, the vast majority of the low-level generic enemies are person in hoodie. Literally...
Now, look at these goddamn in-game stills real quick. That's a gun. That's a gun. Oh, this one's actually unarmed. Oh, wait. Nope, yep, he's unarmed apparently, but the guy behind him has a gun. You can't see this one, I bet he's fucking packing. And look at this. They're wearing hoodies, yes, but they're also covering up their faces. They're trying not to be fucking recognized. If you saw this walking down the street at you, would you fucking be wary? I think you fucking would, because they look suspicious as fuck. I don't give a fuck if it's just... You want to say, oh, they're wearing a hoodie, so blah, blah, blah. It's like they're fucking acting up. Look at these. Look at this person right here. One of those fucking innocent survivors I've been gunning down, apparently, right? Look at what these fuckers are doing. Robbing them at gunpoint.
Everyone you find on the street wearing a hoodie is a thug to be gunned down on sight in this game.
Never mind the previous fucking photo that showed them being thugs.
At a time when the hoodie has become a national symbol of racial violence for us. Geraldo Rivera ludicrously said that the hoodie was as much responsible for the death of Trayvon Martin as George Zimmerman was,
and so many people told him he was fucking stupid, huh?
Then basically went on to tell black and Latino families to not let their children wear hoodies if they don't want them getting shot by...
Again, an act that was publicly condemned, and rightly so. An article of clothing does not make somebody a thug. Thuggish actions make people thugs!
...by frightened white people. Famous athletes have since used the hoodie to show their solidarity with the black community, and in
Oh yeah, and let's not forget fucking Michael Brown, who also sparked all this shit, who robbed a convenience store and resisted arrest and tried to steal a cop's gun, which is how he got shot.
Enormous protests have been organized using this as a symbol of the racial problems that were being protested. Given the magnitude of the problem, the horrific labeling of an entire racial group based
You're so goddamn dumb.
On one garment, and the use of that garment as a code word to call an entire group of people thugs, this is an area where you have to tread with care, and the division utterly fails to do so.
No, you're just an oversensitive prick who can't fucking figure out that it's a gameism, that these people are fucking a faction called rioters, that, for the sake of anonymity, have decided to don hoodies and masks. It's not a comment about fucking what they wear, it's a comment about what they fucking do!
Not only does it make use of that thug in hoodie stereotype without thinking, and reinforce it by having everyone wearing a hoodie be a criminal, but the NPCs even shout lines like "low-life scum" as they mow these hoodie-clad disaster survivors down.
It couldn't be because those hoodie-clad disaster survivors are shooting the other goddamn survivors and stealing from them!
Reinforcing the dehumanization of these people. And there's not only a race divide, but also a class divide going on here, as most of the stories that you hear from these individuals...
Oh, here we go. This is gonna be fucking good.
...fit the working class story mold. And the second faction of enemies you encounter is the Sanitation Workers Union, who are...
Actually, they're called the Cleaners.
...depicted as having gone crazy from the strain of the outbreak. And I should note that while they are depicted as having gone crazy, and so must be stopped with the unquestioned application of lethal force, they're...
I like how you're glossing over the fact about how they're being crazy. And don't worry, I'll fix it for you later.
Basically doing the same thing the player character is.
False! The player character is helping the disaster survivors. You know those poor little bastards picking up trash and trying to eke out a living? That's what they're doing. They are helping, trying to restore order. These motherfuckers... lighting people on fire. That's what these fuckers are doing. Sure, they're trying to restore order by killing everyone alive except them. But I guess the ends justify the means, huh? They're exactly the same as these people, huh? You fucking assholes.
They're going around the city burning whatever they feel is contaminated in order to wipe out the infection and help restore the city.
Including people.
Which isn't really that unlike wandering around the city shooting whatever you think is contributing to the breakdown of society.
I wander around the city shooting things that I think is contributing to the breakdown of society because they're contributing to the breakdown of society by burning people alive and shooting and robbing from the fucking survivors. There is physical evidence going on that they are fucking a threat. And you are completely ignoring that, aren't you?
And truth is, this game also promotes the type of fear-mongering that has so divided our society.
You mean like you're promoting some kind of goddamn SJW bullshit to make people fucking hate fucking games as an art form because it makes people feel bad? Oh, I'm sorry, it makes some people feel bad because they're weak little bitches?
Claiming that one terror attack would take down the entire United States government, and justifying anything in response. But this just isn't true, and we know it. Now, yes, there was one theoretic simulation which was played in the Bush era called Operation Dark Winter, which essentially said that we were highly vulnerable to a biological attack. A simulation which basically the whole game is based on. But this
Oh, he finally did some research!
simulation's results have not only been criticized, but are also based on data from 15 years ago. Perhaps more importantly, during none of the epidemics of the 20th century did a major country collapse into anarchy, or face widespread lawlessness and riots. And in the 21st century, even virulent diseases like SARS and Ebola have been shown to be containable. And it just kills me to say all this, because I know this isn't what the game's developers intended for their game to...
If you know that's not what the intention is, and you know that games are art, then why the fuck are you fucking goddamn supporting this fucking censorship narrative and telling people you can't do this because it's problematic? You're a fucking cuckolded little bitch! And if I fucking find you in person in any fucking place, I will tell you this to your fucking face!
say. In fact, as I played through it, I could see instances where some of the team was clearly trying where they could to squeeze in small moments of self-awareness. And the developers as a whole were
Citation, where are this? Show us.
clearly making a serious effort to be conscious about issues of race and gender. The Division itself is played by a diverse cast, and not just playing token parts either. Honestly, that's more than most games do. And yet, unfortunately, they took the wrong lessons from our struggles with diversity in the game industry. Because being conscious of race doesn't mean simply having characters of varying skin tone. It means being aware and not tone deaf to the racial issues that affect us today.
So, what you're saying are white people are bad. Okay, got it. Fuck you.
Division should serve as an object lesson for all of us about being conscious of what a game is really saying with its world and its mechanics. Because despite what I'm sure was never the intention of the developer, they managed to present to us a game which glorifies totalitarianism and the unrestricted use of force, plays light with issues like police brutality, and succumbs to sweeping generalizations, pigeonholing people based on what they wear. It's an example of...
I am so tired of fucking repeating this. The fucking rioters are enemies because of their actions, not because of what they wear. The fucking cleaners are enemies because of their actions, not because they fucking want the world back together. You're a fucking idiot. In fact, the only place in the game where everything that you're saying applies is the Last Man Battalion. And guess what? They're also goddamn fucking enemies!
classicism and paranoia mongering at a time when our society's wrestling with these issues. And for some, without even thinking about it, what this game glorifies will affect them. Because culture matters, and games are culture. We can do better.
Oh, now games are culture. I remember you guys used to say games were art. Fuck you. You are clearly just projecting your fucking own little issues onto this fucking game, and I won't stand for it. Please, share this fucking video that hopefully gets loaded up and fucking passed, so that people like fucking this goddamn idiot who hides behind his little fucking cartoon don't get away with this fucking bullshit.
See you next week.
Yeah, no you won't unless you fucking do something stupid again.